Did you see Emily's email, Albert, about Zoom access? I'm gonna try to send her this link and see if it works.
Cool. All right, cool. I see Emily joining. Awesome. Hey, Emily, could you send me whatever links or invites you have right now? I wanna see what you have.
Yes, I'll forward you what I have. And when I click on the links, I just get a sign that says unable to join invalid meeting ID.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I would I'll I'll ask the rest of the group though. I assume you have the correct Zoom link because you're here. But does anyone else have any complications joining this meeting?
No.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. I know this is kind of a sampling bias here, but thank you. Awesome. Awesome. So folks, we're just getting in the swing of things. If you want to introduce yourselves, say hi in the chat, name, where you're coming from, agency. Um, and how is spring going for you so far? Is it actually springtime for you at this point, or is it still feeling like winter?
Well, they're threatening a tornado up in Seattle, so yeah, I'm not sure spring is quite on my mind.
That's I don't think that happens in Seattle. A tornado? Okay.
I'm hoping not, but that's the forecast.
All right. All right. Well, I'm I'm praying it doesn't happen like that. All right, 2 inches
Well,
of
thank you.
hail. Yeah.
We have rain forecasted for the next pretty much week, with the exception of Saturday. So 50s and 60s, but oddly enough, it was 80 the last 2 days. So there's that.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I'm seeing folks are experiencing all 4 seasons in a single day. I'm looking through the chat here. Uh Here in San Jose, it's been lovely today. It was lovely yesterday, and tomorrow I think we're supposed to get a thunderstorm. So, you know, anyways. Um, awesome. I see. Okay, a bunch of folks have joined. Yes, please, welcome. If you're coming in, we're just introducing folks or introducing yourself in the chat. Say hello. Get a conversation started. See if folks are, if they're near you, say hi. Get connected. This is all about building that community. Um, I am going to ask Chelsea if we can get started and pull up the slide deck. We've got over 150 folks on the call. It's typically when I like to get this started. So I think we can awesome. Thank you, Chelsea. And great to have everyone on the call here. Look, this is the official closing out of phase 2 of the coalition and getting started on phase 3. So we're going to take a little bit of time, recap the resources and the work that's been done so far. We're going to highlight and all the great works that our committees have done, and then we're going to share out what's going on for phase 3 here in the coalition. And as we position to that, how you can get involved in our upcoming adventures. So with that, Chelsea, could you move to the next slide? Awesome. Thank you. So first and foremost, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone on this call and everyone who couldn't attend but has been a part of the coalition. We just released our version 2 of all of our materials. If I can get Layla or Angela to drop the link to that page in the chat, maybe a couple times because chat's moving pretty fast. But we have the version 2 of everything. So this includes things from your policy documents to how to get started actually using AI, what types of use cases make the most sense for an agency just getting started versus those that are a little more experienced at this point. And so much more that is right there available on our coalition webpage, thanks to the fantastic work across all of our coalition members. The one place I recommend if you're just getting started, we got a starter guide. Take a look at that. It's just a couple of pages and it shows folks, if you don't know where to go first, that's the place to be. Phase 3 in going to be 6 committees, just like we had in phase 2. We had 6 committees, but we're tweaking them just a little bit to now focus on one, of course, continuing to help our agencies adopt AI tools and then maturing their governance practices. Layla, I want to pass it off to you to close out the rest of this and push it forward.
Thanks, Albert. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for being here. It's great to see y'all. I'm Layla, privacy and AI analyst. Oh, I think we have someone who's unmuted. Chelsea, thanks.
Done.
I'm Layla, privacy and AI analyst at the city of San Jose. Like Albert was saying, we just had a major release of the version 2 of all the original policy templates from
Are
the
you and
coalition.
Helena? I love you for that. Thank you.
Chelsea, can you help mute that person?
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, folks, if you could make sure that you're on mute for this, that would be amazing. I know we have a lot of people on the call, so it can be hard to keep track. But I want to take a moment to acknowledge and thank all of the people who were involved in updating those policy templates. The policy committee, the adoption committee spent 12 months making sure that the versions that we released 2 weeks ago are best in class for our practitioners who are doing this work on the ground. So thank you so much to everyone there. And if you haven't, like Albert said, check out the letter from the board. They reflected on phase 2, all the accomplishments of the coalition, and also charted a path forward for phase 3. So phase 1 of the coalition was focused on creating those policy templates. Phase 2, we were focused on helping agencies implement them and learn what worked well, what didn't work so well. And for phase 3, our focus is to mature those adoption and governance practices. And like Albert said, we're going to have 6 committees for this. He'll share more about what those committees are in just a few minutes. But this brings me to our third announcement, which is as the coalition is expanding, as we're maturing as a coalition and as an organization, we thought that this would be a great moment to introduce a code of conduct for our members. You can see the full version of it on the webpage. It's pretty basic. It has things like respect your fellow coalition members, no solicitation from our vendors who participate, things like that. Albert will share a few more of the details in just a few slides, but just wanted to flag that for everyone. Next announcement is that after today's meeting, we'll be sharing out with everyone the March newsletter. Hope that y'all enjoy it. We're always looking for AI articles, policy news, any op-eds that you've seen out there or that you've authored yourself. If you have any articles or things that you would be great to share with the rest of the coalition, use that link that's in the slide there. One of us will drop it in the chat, but we really welcome any recommendations that you have for us to include in the newsletter. And then finally, we are currently planning the GovAI Coalition Summit, the second one. The dates that we're looking at right now are November 5th through 7th in San Jose. And if you haven't already, fill out the survey that's on the screen there. It'll help us understand how many folks can make those dates, when you would be able to register for the summit by, and then what kind of topics that you would like to see at the conference. Okay, next slide, please. Perfect. So again, we want to take just a moment to really appreciate all of the deliverables and the resources that the coalition membership has created over the past 12 months, over phase 2. And there's so many of them that we actually couldn't fit them all in one slide. So Angela and I have 3 slides to share with y'all over the next few minutes. But just to sum up those policy templates that I mentioned a minute ago here, what you see on the screen right now are the version 2s that were released. So we have the AI policy that's been updated with a couple modifications. The AI governance handbook was formerly the AI policy manual. So if you're looking through the templates and you see that new name there, that was previously the AI policy manual. One new addition that we have alongside that handbook is that template in the upper right-hand side of the screen, the algorithmic impact assessment form. This is, thank you, Chelsea. This is a Microsoft form template that has about 30 to 40 questions. It's a pretty comprehensive set, but 30 to 40 questions that we think agencies should be asking when they're conducting an AI review. So it's there for agencies to kind of pick and choose which questions make sense for their agency to be asking. We also have updated the vendor agreement template that has some new clauses around data privacy. The AI fact sheet has been updated as well. One notable change is that there's a new section in there for environmental impacts. That's something that I've noticed members of our coalition have had increased interest in lately, and the policy committee decided that it would be a good idea to add a section on this here, especially as we're looking at Gen AI tools which are expanding in their use by governments. And we know that those have a significant energy and water impact. So we included it in the fact sheet to try to promote more transparency around those metrics there. We also have a slightly different version of the fact sheet for third-party service providers. Those are vendors who don't own, operate, or manage the underlying AI system that their product is built on. And so we have a version of the fact sheet that looks just a little bit different for that different type of vendor. So if you're a vendor on the call right now and you're listening and you're looking at the original AI fact sheet and you feel like it doesn't really apply to your situation, check out the other version for service providers and it could be a better fit for you. And then finally, we updated the AI incident response plan a little bit. We found that there hasn't been a ton of movement in the incident space yet, and we suspect that it's because adoption of AI systems is still very early. But as the space matures, we want to make sure that we're taking a look at this response plan in the coming months to make sure that it stays up to date with the emerging best practices and all that. So with that, Angela, I'll pass it over to you.
Thanks, Layla. And so this is our second out of the 3 slides, showcasing the resources that the coalition has put out this past year. And again, just really wanted to appreciate the use cases committee here and our, I believe, adoption committee and our external affairs committee for pulling all of them and pulling their experiences. And so we've actually portioned them into 2 sections. The first one is if you're not quite sure where to start with AI, we've created guides for simple AI assistance for government that you can pull together really quickly from a large chatbot like ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude. If you are an agency who's interested in looking at procuring AI, we have 2 places for that. So we have AI procured by government, showcasing general use cases, but then in our use cases repository, we also have a section that links to the vendor demos that we had from our vendor partners in the use cases committee, showcasing both the video recordings, the contact information, as well as the slides. And as always, if you'd like to get a good overview of the AI ecosystem now, go ahead and check out the newsletter, and our March edition should be releasing shortly after this meeting. If you feel like you're ready to start trying out some of these use cases, we're going to point you ahead towards the translation chat GPT that the use cases committee built together, using translation pairs in 15 languages from 9 agencies that were donated. And this one is just to get a quick snapshot of how AI can really help you produce better translations compared to, say, something like Google Translate. And finally, if you're already implementing some use cases and you want to know if they're performing well or not, we created the guide to measuring AI performance, because there are different metrics for different kinds of AI, and that provides a quick overview of what you might want to look out for when you're assessing your use cases. Next slide, please. Thank you, Chelsea. And then we've also produced a lot of AI procurement resources, which is really a lot of the work of the Cooperative Purchasing Committee and the AI Registry Committee over the past year. And so a few that we'd love to highlight here is the Buyer's Guide to Gen AI Tools. This was pulled together just to give an overview of if you were an agency that was looking to procure, say, generative AI, or particularly a large LLM, considerations that you want to look out for. There is also a guide for AI questions for government leaders. So for your elected officials or for your senior staff, things that they should be thinking about when they're thinking about using AI in their agency. The Cooperative Purchasing Committee has also worked with Pavilion to create the GovAI Contract Hub. Sorry. Would we possibly, oh, thank you, the GovAI Coalition Contract Hub. And this is a great place to look at AI-related contracts, as well as cooperative purchasing contracts that you and your agency might be interested in piggybacking on if you want to procure an AI-related tool. And there are already 50 contracts, so definitely go check that out. And then we also wanted to highlight the fact sheets in the AI registry, as well as the AI fact sheet walkthrough that the registry committee puts together that introduces to vendors what we're really looking for in an AI fact sheet, but also helps with agencies a quick explainer of what the fact sheet is. And we've also gotten over 50 fact sheets in the registry. We have, I believe, about 20 of them public on the website, and the rest are in the Coalition team space, and we've gotten them from both large and small companies. Next slide, please. Here. And finally, we've had our inaugural in-person convening at the GovAI Coalition Summit last December. It was so great to see so many of you there. And a really, really big kudos to our External Affairs Committee for putting in so much work to pull this off. I'm passing it off to you, Albert.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Layla. And I'm seeing a bunch of conversation in the chat. Some questions. Where do I start? Where do I begin? What's going on? And I even saw an interesting question around a discussion group or informal discussion for the actually using all the templates and how that's going and how that's working. And I think that's a great segue into our upcoming phase 3 committees. And these are going to be the committees starting in April. So I think our first meeting might actually be in the first week of April. But these are places for us to talk shop, get all this work done, whether it be from figuring out how the heck to use these templates to getting your data ready for AI, to actually buying systems, working with vendors, working with our industry partners, actually applying AI, whether it be with an industry partner or with a nonprofit or with government, just right there with you. And of course, engaging our community and having that conversation. We've organized into 6 committees. And for those of you that have been here before, some of them are going to feel pretty similar. Our Readiness and Adoption Committee is just an evolution of our Adoption Committee. And this really is, if you're looking for a more structured place to have those conversations around how is adoption of certain tools looking like for you? Can I get some help on that? How can I teach and educate the rest of my staff on how to use AI responsibly? That's the right place for you. If you're looking to build out the readiness for your AI systems, making sure that you've got your data ducks in a row before you start turning on things like a Copilot or a Gemini or internal large language models, or however you want to think about it, this is the place to have those conversations. If you're looking to buy things not only by yourself, but potentially jointly across agencies, being able to find ways to get the best terms, the best prices, the best work that you can do, that's our procurement committee. Our industry relations, we're really excited about this. Look, our industry partners, with the exception of our contracting conversations at procurement, our industry partners are welcome everywhere. But this is a specific place where we work together to help make sure that our industry partners, whether they're a startup or they're the biggest company on the block, that they can work together with us on using AI responsibly. Of course, we've got our use cases around applying those tools and our community engagement around finding what, we talk about responsible AI, or we talk about using AI to make sure that it benefits our community. Well, raises the question of, well, how do you know what your community wants? And I'm very excited about our new community engagement committee talking through that. So this is just an overview. There's a lot here. There's a lot of deliverables. If you're just getting started, I got 2 tips for you. One, we have our starter guide. It's the first thing on that resources page, and we'll drop the starter guide in the chat again. That's the best place to just take a look, how to get your feet wet, and then come in, listen to the committee meetings, see what's interesting. We're going to put in a important call out here before we move on is just we are rescheduling all of our committees or restarting all of our committees. So what this means is if you've had the calendar invites for the last year of phase 2, those meetings are done. Those meetings are canceled. Those meetings, the Zoom invites will no longer work. What we're moving to is a new system to hopefully streamline and make sure that folks can all get onto the meetings without as many issues as we've had this past year. So if we can get that registration link put into the chat, and I know we've got it in a bunch of places, but let's put that registration link. You don't have to actually re-register, but go through it, and it's going to have all of the links to actually sign up via Zoom for all of these meetings. And then that way, whatever ones you want, take them, register for them. If you want them again, or you misplace them, you reject them, you can go grab them again, no problem. And if you want to share with other folks, you can share that link with them as well. With that, thank you, Angela. Angela just dropped the link in the chat, and we'll also send that out over email. It's on our website as well. That's how to get started. As Layla mentioned, we've had a pretty strong form of norms and cultures and practices here in the coalition to begin with, and it just made sense to actually put them out on paper. We've said many of these beforehand, and so we're saying them again, and we're putting out a code of conduct just to lay that out. This is an evolving process, and if there's something here that feels wrong or there's an open question, like let's have that dialogue. But some basics are the things that we've already been seeing. Look, we're all here, whether we be from the government side, the industry side, the nonprofit side, or anywhere in between, or just some member from the public here to try and support the work that we're doing. We're all here for the same thing, and it's important to treat each other with that level of respect and gratitude for the work that we're all voluntarily putting in to do all this. This one is more of a logistics thing, but we've found that a lot of AI note takers have auto-joined meetings, and that has led to people getting spammed with notes, emails afterwards, and other issues. So we just ask, if you have an AI note taker, make sure that it's turned off from auto join so it doesn't just automatically join these. We managing the meeting will be taking notes, and we will send those out afterwards, so you don't have to worry about that. And in the same vein, no recording without consent. there will be some of these meetings across the coalition, like this one, where recording makes sense. There are others where it does not make sense. And in the same way with any other meeting, just make sure that we have consent from the participants in the meeting before actually recording those meetings. And last but not least, no solicitation, right? We've had this conversation many times, and our vendors have been fantastic about this. And we just ask, hey, this is a place for thought partnership, for working together, not for sales pitches. And, you know, if you want to take a look, we've got our full code of conduct. You can see that on our coalition webpage, but that's the gist of it. And with that, I think we can move on to the next slides. And I'm just checking the chat here, making sure. Awesome. Okay, so we've already got questions around the Community Engagement Committee, and so you are in luck. Layla, Ryan, I'll pass it off to Ryan. Are you still on the call?
Yes, I'm still here, Robert.
Perfect. Then Ryan, I'll pass it off to you for this.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you. So my name is Ryan Kurtzman. I'm part of the GovAI Coalition interim board and joining you all from not so sunny Long Beach, California today. I'm really thrilled to serve as the board advisor for the new and much needed community engagement work group, and really amped up for what this group can accomplish to create trust-based connections and set best practices for how we engage and inform the public on municipal AI use. And I think this group will really focus on the public component of AI for the public good. And with that, I actually want to pass the baton to our two amazing committee chairs who I think are on the call, Meg Young from Data and Society and Liz Bueller from the city of Salt Lake City, or Salt Lake City Corporation, excuse me, who are going to share more about the goals of this work group.
Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be starting the new community engagement working group with Liz and Ryan and the team from GovAI Coalition. To acquaint you a bit with what we have in mind for the new community engagement working group, I'm going to share our V1 mission statement in the chat. But essentially, when people think about community engagement in AI, they sometimes think about AI tools used for doing community engagement or how to scale community engagement. But we're going to be chiefly focused on how to communicate with your residents about AI, what it is, how it works, which tools are you using, what in your city's AI policy are you taking on, and then as much as possible, trying to begin two-way conversations with residents to hear from them about their needs and to even ideate what use cases could be valuable to them. For more information, we hope to see you there. I believe it's the 17th. We'll put the date and time in the chat, but I'll hand it over to my co-chair, Liz.
And really not much to add to what Meg just said. We're really excited to have a conversation with everyone, members of the GovAI Coalition, to really be very deliberate on how we're engaging our communities about not only how we're using AI, but also next steps as we start to incorporate more and more of these tools. So really looking forward to it, and please join us.
So thank you so much, all. And again, very excited to see this committee getting off the ground here. Let's see. I think next it's Emily and the Cooperative Purchasing Committee. Yeah.
Thanks. And I apologize, everybody, for not being on video, but remarkably, there's a big storm coming through and my internet connection appears to be somewhat unstable. But I just wanted to say thank you for Angela for the update that you provided earlier about our contract hub. That's essentially my update as well. Currently, we're working on developing a new standard process for how we evaluate contracts that we want to upload into the AI contract hub. So what are those kind of precise criteria that we would like to make sure that we have reflected in the hub and curate what is available in the hub? And I just wanted to add that next GovAI wide meeting, we're going to have a really exciting announcement from the San Jose procurement team. So just putting a little teaser out there. It's related to cooperative purchasing. It's an opportunity that many of you will be able to take advantage of. And I will just leave it at that and come with a larger update at our next meeting. Thank you.
And Emily, speaking of the next meeting, did you want to briefly mention, are there any updates or changes we want to say now that it's called the procurement committee or anything around there?
Well, one thing that I suppose is a little bit different now is that we've split up how we work into two groups. One group is a volunteer group, which really focused on achieving the outcomes of our roadmap for the procurement committee. And then the second group is really more about receiving and obtaining information. We curate speakers from our own membership as well as our partners who can inform our members about cooperative purchasing opportunities and new and exciting ways that different procurement shops are using AI in their own workflows and or procuring AI in innovative ways.
Awesome. Excited to see from both sides of that. And with that, I think I actually have the next one, which is our adoption support committee. So I'm gonna just put a bow on our phase 2, and then I'm gonna pass it off to Sabra for our phase 3. So look, when we started the adoption support committee this time last year, our goal was to get 100 agencies using in some shape or form, whether it be just to get started or full on adopting our policy templates into their use, at least 100 agencies to start using this stuff. We kind of blew past that in the first month or two of the phase 2, which was very exciting. And per our last survey, of our coalition that is over 700 agencies and climbing, we've seen that a majority of them have explored or used or drafting their AI policies or testing things out based on the policy that we've put together. Similar things for our governance manual, our fact sheet, the vendor agreements, the use case guides that we're using. We're seeing a pretty strong uptick. This says 25 to 35%, but still note it's still in the hundreds. Exploring or leveraging our incident response plan, looking at our registry of AI vendors that are using AI transparently alongside us, educational materials, the vendor demos that folks are physically attending to actually see and watch and learn about what types of success stories are happening right now. And of course, our buyer's guide and learning how to measure AI performance across all of this. So again, I highlight this for two reasons. One, to thank the people that put this stuff together, which is so many of the folks on the call, all the way back from phase 1 to now, over the last 18 months. And two, I think one of the strongest things, if your agency is looking just to get started and find a way to move the needle, is being able to know that what you're basing your policy and your usage of AI off of, it's not just you in a vacuum, right? You can go to your leadership or your agency and say, hey, this is the same stuff that we're seeing being used across the country and slowly but surely across the world. And so know that. And as you're figuring this stuff out, whether it be talking with your leadership, your vendors, your other partners, that this is tried, true, and tested and continually updated material that you can use today. And with that, I'm going to pass it off to Sabra to introduce our phase 3 version. Oh,
good afternoon, everybody. Oh,
thanks, Chelsea.
That's okay. Thank you. Very excited to be supporting the Readiness and Adoption Committee in phase 3. We will continue a focus on supporting agencies for responsible AI governance and adoption, as this committee has done in the past. And adding additional thinking around kind of training and how the coalition can help support training staff jurisdiction-wide. So very, very excited to partner with everybody who has served on this committee, including Rich and here, and looking forward to connecting with folks twice a month. Please do sign up to continue to participate or start participating if you haven't yet. And thank you, Albert.
Thank you, Sabra. Excited for that. And sorry, maybe we move back 2 slides just to pass it off to uh, Jonathan and team for the policy committee.
All right. Thanks, Albert. The goal of the policy committee over 12 months was to publish those version 2 of the documents. And as Layla highlighted at the beginning of the meeting, those have now been published, the AI policy, the AI governance handbook, our incident response plan and vendor agreement, and then the AI fact sheets that were highlighted. And thank you to all of those who participated in the policy committee meetings. A lot of great feedback over the past 12 months and getting those updates made to those documents. And please keep sharing your policies with the coalition as you finish those. I think that's been helpful for everybody to see the work being done out there and how those documents have been adopted. And I think we pass it over to Jamie and the use case committee next.
All right. Hi, everybody. Jamie Waskalis from the city of St. Paul in Minnesota. A year ago, we kicked off the use cases committee with some big goals. We wanted to create 45 use case guides for everybody, anybody to look at. If they had needs, if they had problems they wanted to solve, to come forward and be able to take these resources. We also wanted to develop one jointly developed AI model. What do we have? We have 52 use cases available in our repository. 11 use cases with our industry partners, and really showing ways to get started. So there's a lot of really great content in here. Some of those are vendor demos that we partnered with at the end of 2024. So really getting to see how our partnerships with our vendors can impact the public sector when it comes to responsible and value-driven AI. We have 2 jointly developed models. One of them Angela talked about earlier was our translation model with ChatGPT. And we have 2 jointly developed AI databases, including those over 27,000 translation pairs from 9 agencies in 14 languages. So really working together to create these tools, to help us create these tools together. So I just want to say huge, yes, kudos to our entire use cases committee. I think we have about 800 people who are signed up on our email list. I think we regularly see about 60 to 100 people, but really excited. You know, our committee is the one that's kind of remaining the same. We've done a ton of great work and we have a lot of great energy moving forward. So let's talk about phase 3 for the use cases committee. So we are really going to double down on some knowledge sharing, really wanting to continue to extend that collaboration, that great collaboration we have, and then also continue to host demos. This is what we heard when we got together at the summit last December in San Jose. So we're really excited to move forward with you all. Announcing 2 new committee chairs for the Use Cases Committee, Nicole Sterling and Hemant Desai, both who helped to lead working groups in our earlier iteration of the Use Cases Committee, are going to be stepping up and taking larger leadership roles so we can do larger work together. So really excited about this work. We're going to be starting to meet 2 times a month. One of those meetings is going to be really focused on showcasing demos, use cases, partnerships with vendors, so you can continue to learn. We can continue to learn together. And the other one is going to be our regular meeting where we're showcasing some of those individual work groups, getting people together, answering questions, digging into things. So please sign up for the use cases group. We're doing a lot of really, really great work. Thanks, y'all, for making the magic happen. And I'll pass it off to whoever's next. Thanks, Albert.
Thanks, Jamie. Anthony,
Thank
Jerry,
you,
you guys
Jamie.
on? There you go.
Yep, we're here. So this isn't on our sheet, but I want to give a special shout out to a couple of the folks that led some of these work groups for external affairs. So our 12-month goal was to host an in-person convening, and that was a huge, huge undertaking. A lot of folks helped out. Really want to give a special thanks to Sabra, who led that working group to get everything together, make sure we had vendors, make sure we had food, because, you know, food is the most important portion of this. People are not fed, they're not happy. So thank you, Sabra, for all the work that you did and all the folks that were a part of that working group. The other piece that's not on here I want to address was we tried to figure out social media. We realized that we are not TikTokers, Instagram folks, or anything, but we had to stand up a LinkedIn We had to figure out a strategy behind how we were going to engage with folks online and digitally. So I really want to say thank you to Chelsea and Andrew who helped lead that group. Really couldn't have done it without you. You know, social media is not my thing. For anybody who follows my Instagram, yeah, I'm not a social media guru. So thank you, Andrew and Chelsea, for all of the work there for external affairs and that working group. And then finally, we created a newsletter. Robert and his group, I know, Robert, you post a ton of stuff on LinkedIn, a lot of really, really great articles and a lot of things that you've written. We found a way to bring that to life and include other folks coming in as thought leaders, producing some of their own content, finding information that's helpful to the rest of the coalition, and created the newsletter that I believe we just released the March edition of. So go ahead and read that. Again, thank you to Robert and that working group. I will then pause and give Jerry a moment if you'd like to say some farewells, since we will be closing out this committee and moving it into operations.
Sure. Thank you, Anthony. So it's a bit bittersweet, knowing that we're going to be closing the external affairs, but knowing that we're evolving into something that will further the mission and vision of the coalition. And so I want to thank all the folks that participated in the very sort of broad topic of external affairs, either whether it be in the support of the summit, whether it be support in offering up thought leadership. A lot of the work that we did also was an establishment of partnerships, and using some of that information, those relationships to sort of better understand or help at least shape the direction. Like, where does it make sense for our coalition as a whole to go forward? And so we want to thank everybody that offered up a lot of that thought leadership. So aside from that, thank you, Anthony. I'm glad we were able to highlight the folks that participated and supported a lot of excellent work across the team. But though it's sad that we're going to be ending the external affairs, I'm very excited to see again what the future phases and how we continue to evolve. It's pretty normal. AI landscape changes very quickly. It's pretty expected that it's going to evolve. So, anyways, it's a long-winded way of saying thank you, thank you, thank you, and we look forward to seeing what our work evolves into. So, thank you, Anthony. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to the next person, Angela, please. I think who will be presenting the AI registry.
Thanks, Jerry. So, hi everyone. I'll be standing in today because Ethan can't able to make it, sadly. And so, again, just a really big appreciation for our AI registry liaisons, Yar, Clay, Kaya, Tegan, Mike, Omero, Fred, and Richard for reviewing all of our AI fact sheets. Our 12-month goal was a beta registry platform, which you can find on the GovAI website and TeamSpace, but we're working so that it can be on its own independent platform with couple more features there. And the AI fact sheets that we have are 57 total that have been submitted, ranging from our large companies like Google, Microsoft, and Amazon, as well as from new startups. And you can view all of them on the TeamSpace itself. Next slide, please. Thank you. And then as we move into phase 3, we'll be expanding this into the Industry Relations Committee. The goal is to both promote and support engagement with the vendor community so that we can work with them, especially for their offerings that are in alignment with coalition values, in addition to supporting agencies in identifying solutions that meet their needs. Our board advisor will continue to be Ethan from TriMet. We're still working on coordinating our committee chairs, but we will be meeting twice a month, and so very excited for phase 3. And I'll be passing it on. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Anthony, did you wanna go over this or
Sure. And then I can pass it over to Jonathan or Artie or Sarah if y'all have anything else to add from a commentary and content standpoint. So a couple of conversations that we had with folks at the town hall and during parts of the summit in December were around data governance and AI governance and trying to figure out, okay, I have this AI policy, I have the intent to create some AI tools. Well, what do I do about my data? Maybe we might have missed a step, or maybe there's something that I could do to clean up before I start implementing AI. And so that's kind of where this started from, the genesis of this conversation or starting this committee. So what we're really trying to do here is create some good best practices for data governance, some frameworks for AI integration, and being able to show how agencies across the coalition can potentially share information seamlessly, safely, and freely. Jonathan, Artie, or Sarah, anything else to add that you'd like to let the coalition know?
I think you summed it up well, Anthony.
All right. Well, I guess we'll start figuring out when we'll be meeting. We're kind of trying to figure out what day of the week and how it fits into the cadence of the other meetings. But as far as we know, this committee will be meeting monthly. And again, this is the intent of the work is really driving that pre-AI implementation, data governance related work, and things around data sharing, data privacy as well. So if that's your role or that's what you're interested in, please reach out to us. We're more than happy to get you on that email list and start sending out those invites when they become available.
You, Anthony, and thank you, everyone. That just about does it for us on this call. If you have any other questions or comments, I'll be on for a few minutes just to answer anything in the chat. But next step for you all, complete our registration form, sign up, see what committees spark joy for you. Join them, listen in, learn, grow, talk with folks, be a part of that community. So look, with that, happy Wednesday, all. Oh, yes, thank you for moving that, Chelsea. Last thing is, as mentioned, we just released our March newsletter. We'll be sending that out in an email. It's going to be posted on our website, but also, if you got a phone or something else can scan QR code, you can scan it right there and read about what's been going on. So with that, I think that's everything we got. So thank you again, everyone, so much. Excited for phase 3. And I'll see you all very soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Hey, Albert, I think we need exit music.
You're right. No, you're right. I should. You know, I had the music queued up for this meeting, and then
so close.
And then I'm like, oh no, there's some like link issue, so I had to go figure that out. Wait, hold on. Let me turn off the recording. People don't need to hear this part.